constant in today's world is change. The way we do things now will be different tomorrow. You can sit on the sidelines and watch, or you can jump in and help shape the future. Innovators needed. Visionaries needed. Trailblazers needed. Game changers needed. You're needed. BCIT, education for a complex world.
Bruno Perón aquí saludándolos desde Vancouver, Canadá. Como es costumbre, hacemos nuestros webinars el día de hoy. Mi invitado el día de hoy es BCIT, una gran institución aquí en Vancouver. Siempre me da mucho gusto tenerlos con nosotros porque es una institución realmente que vale la pena conocer. Entonces vamos a hablar un poco más de ellos, pero antes de eso, como es costumbre, les quiero decir que estamos grabando este episodio de nuestro webinar. Estamos al mismo tiempo en redes sociales, en Facebook, estamos en YouTube, en Twitter, y con el equipo de clase que está ahí con ustedes para contestar a sus preguntas. Así que aprovechen de una vez para saludarnos, decirnos de dónde nos están escuchando, de qué ciudad, de qué país. Qué programas están buscando, cuáles son sus inquietudes. Vamos a tomar las preguntas en vivo durante este webinar, entonces aprovechan que estamos en vivo para contestar sus preguntas. Estamos, como decía hace un inicio, estamos grabando y los que se registraron recibieron la grabación el día de mañana de este webinar. Mucha gente nos conocen, que nos están escuchando en este momento, pero también hay gente nueva que no saben quiénes somos. Y les comento rápidamente, Class Education somos una empresa orgullosamente canadiense. Tenemos ya 27 años de presencia en el mercado en México y en América Latina. Somos la empresa número 1 que se dedica a la promoción de educación superior en Canadá. Es nuestra especialidad. También trabajamos con programas de idioma, high school, campamentos, programas de estudio y trabaja, pero digamos que la educación superior es nuestra expertise. Y somos afiliados a varios organismos, como pueden ver abajo de la pantalla, como es la Embajada de Canadá en México, la Cámara de Comercio Canadiense Mexicana, AMTE, que es una asociación, la Asociación Mexicana de agencias de turismo educativo, perdón, y varios otros cuerpos internacionales que rigen todo eso de la educación en el extranjero. ¿Okay? Entonces, ese es quién es Class Education. Somos una empresa que ofrece todos los servicios que uno necesita para ir a estudiar en Canadá. Ofrecemos un servicio all inclusive o llave en mano, como decimos en México, empezando, y lo más importante para mí, con la consultoría educativa, es decir, a ayudar a nuestros clientes a identificar el mejor programa y la mejor institución para sus necesidades. Eso es lo que hacemos y obviamente va de la mano toda la parte de registros a las escuelas, aplicaciones, juntar los documentos necesarios, presentar aplicaciones fuertes frente a las instituciones para recibir respuestas positivas. Manejamos lo de los seguros médicos que son obligatorios, hospedaje en Canadá para cuando llegan aquí a estudiar, trámites de visados de estudio y de trabajo y también para toda su familia, si vienen con la familia o con su pareja. Y otros varios servicios como recepción en el aeropuerto cuando llegan, traducción de documentos, al fin, revalidación de estudios, todo eso es lo que hacemos. Y todo eso lo pueden encontrar con una sola empresa. Todo lo pueden tramitar con nosotros. Estamos aquí nosotros para acompañarlos a lo largo de este gran viaje y con mucha experiencia de por medio para guiarlos en este proceso. ¿Ok? Entonces, eso es quién es Class Education, un poco de información y quién pone esos espacios informativos para ustedes. Último punto antes de iniciar. Hicimos un concurso, ya se acordarán, desde el mes de junio para los famosos Canada Days, que ese es el 1 de julio, era el Día de Canadá, y lanzamos un concurso que la gente puede tomarse un selfie viendo los webinars y vamos a dar regalitos. Entonces, hoy tenemos ya los ganadores de la gente que postearon sus fotos en nuestra página web, en nuestra página de Facebook de Class Education, escuchando nuestro webinar. Entonces, hoy tenemos varios ganadores, entonces los vamos a anunciar al final de este webinar hoy, así que quédense con nosotros y van a enterarse de quién ganó y cuáles son esos premios que vamos a dar. Varios premios son premios aquí en Canadá, porque son gente, algunos son estudiantes que ya van a venir con nosotros y otros serán un apoyo que les podemos dar en México en sus procesos de ir a estudiar a Canadá con Class Education. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Ahora, nuestro invitado de hoy es BCIT, nada menos que BCIT, una gran institución canadiense aquí en Vancouver. Y les doy un poco de información rápida de BCIT antes de presentarle a mis invitados el día de hoy. BCIT es un instituto politécnico público en Canadá, ubicado en Burnaby, British Columbia, Canadá. Burnaby es parte de la región metropolitana de Vancouver. Tiene 5 campus en la ciudad. Es la mejor escuela de tecnología digital por segundo año consecutivo en Canadá. Es una institución que ofrece una educación 50% práctica, 50% teórica. Entonces, muy con actualizaciones de lo que pasa hoy día en el mercado laboral. Ofrecen clases pequeñas de 16 a 28 alumnos por clase normalmente. Imagínense eso, es una institución con más de 50,000 alumnos, de los cuales 6,500 o más o menos el 12% de la población son estudiantes internacionales y seguramente vienen de casi 50 diferentes países en el mundo. Ofrecen programas de certificados de 1 año, diplomas de 2 años, diplomas avanzados de 2 y 3 años, licenciaturas de 4 años y maestrías de 1 y 2 años. ¿Okay? Ofrecen más de 150 programas, es una institución muy grande, en 6 facultades que son Business and Media, Computing and Academic Studies, Construction and the Environment, Energy, Health Sciences, and Automobile and Aviation. Son las grandes escuelas dentro del Politécnico. BCIT trabaja de forma muy estrecha con el mercado laboral y vamos a hablar mucho de eso y por qué es tan importante esta parte, y eso lo que nos da el siguiente renglón, que el 98% de sus graduados encuentran trabajo meses después de graduarse porque están trabajando de forma sumamente estrecha con el mercado laboral aquí, con el sector privado. Entonces, puntos muy, muy importantes. Y escuchen eso, los salarios promedio de los graduados de BCIT andan sobre los $70,000 canadienses anuales, muy arriba del promedio nacional aquí en Canadá. Entonces, otra razón más por considerar BCIT. Los graduados tienen una gran demanda en la industria laboral, se los pelean aquí en el mercado laboral, cuentan con muchos programas con co-op. Co-op son las prácticas laborales que ofrecen a sus alumnos, y como es una institución pública, es 100% elegible al famoso postgraduate Work Permit, que es un permiso laboral que les permite trabajar hasta 3 años después de graduarse de cualquier programa de BCIT. ¿Ok? Entonces, eso es quién es BCIT, una gran institución. Y conmigo, ya les voy a presentar quién está conmigo el día de hoy. Tengo a la señorita Vicky Liu. Hello, Vicky. How are you?
Hi, good. I'm doing good. How are you?
I'm very well, thank you. It's nice to have you here on the program with us.
Thank you.
Vicky, you are the International Recruitment and Social Media Specialist at BCIT. So you work with students from all over the world that wish to come to BCIT. And,
Right.
And today you're going to give us a bit of a presentation. We also have Mr. Michael Galli, my friend, and the Director of International Recruitment and Admission at BCIT. Michael, how are you?
I'm good, Bruno. Thank you. How are you doing?
I'm great. How's your summer going so far?
So far, so good.
Yeah.
It's beautiful in Vancouver. We haven't had rain for over 30 days. It's been warm and dry and nice.
Yeah, that's good and bad because lots of side effects with that, but we'll take the good sides, right?
Yeah.
Right. Well, it's great to have you both with us. I discussed with Vicky a little earlier, and we were talking about BCIT, and I really want to make sure that in this program today we talk about why BCIT is such a great option for international students. What makes, and if we can start with that question, maybe, what makes BCIT such a great option for international students as opposed to other options in the city, in the province, even in the country? What really makes BCIT stand out? If you could start with that question, I think a lot of people would be interested in understanding better the institution.
Sure. Vicky, shall I field this one?
Of course.
Okay. So Bruno, I think for me the best reason why BCIT is a great choice for international students is the postgraduate work options. Unless BCIT is not for everybody, and no school is for everybody, but if you are hoping to work in Canada after you have studied for a couple of years, BCIT really is the place to go, because the programs here they're a perfect blend of theory and practice. So we teach you the theory and we make you practice the theory. So when you graduate, you have all the skills and employers want you. Our postgraduate work employment rates are extremely high, and it's well documented that BCIT graduates get hired, stay hired, and launch great careers.
Yeah,
That's
very, very true. Very true. And for one that lives here, I see this every day. I see BCIT graduates being fought over by employers. So yeah, and that, I believe you have the highest employment rate upon graduation, which is hard to be, because most institutions are at 92%. You're in the 98%. That's So
Yeah.
congratulations on that. I think that's a big accomplishment. I think you were going to say something, Vicky, right?
Yeah, I just want to say that because we don't just want our international students to study in BCIT. We also want to work in Canada, get a little bit Canadian experience. So wherever you go in the future, if whether you decide to stay in Canada or go to other countries to work, BCIT could give you a good start, let you kick off your career.
Yeah, and BCIT has a great reputation here in Vancouver, in British Columbia, and also throughout the country. And I would say with not a doubt in my mind that throughout North America, BCIT is quite known and recognized by most employers.
Bruno, can I give a second reason why BCIT is so great?
By all means.
I think the flexibility of the programs, the laddering of the credentials also makes it fantastic. So, in a traditional university, you sign up for a 4-year degree, and if you stop halfway through, you don't really leave with anything. But with BCIT, you commit to a 1 or 2 year program. That 2-year program, you can either take the diploma that you have and go get a job, or continue for 2 more years and finish the bachelor degree. If you go get a job, you can come back later and finish the degree. It gives you that flexibility. So you're not locking in for 4 years. You lock in for 2. They're 2 very intensive years. And then you have the choice. You continue or you go get a job. And either choice is a great choice. It's really up to the student, and it's great that you have the choice.
Yeah, it's a very good point. I forgot about that. I think not a lot of institutions have that flexibility, offer that kind of flexibility either. Yeah, Vicky, you were going to show us some pictures of the installation, because that's another one. I mean, BCIT is a 50,000 student institution. You've got some stunning campuses, state of the art. So Vicky, why don't you show us some of the pictures you have there on your presentation? Because it's nice. It's nice to have a good program, but it's also nice to study in a beautiful place. And BCIT certainly is a beautiful place.
Okay, just give me a
I think
second here.
You have like 5 campuses, right, Michael?
Correct. 5 campuses. And they're all about 30 minutes from each other. So you can go from the Burnaby campus to the downtown campus to the aerospace, marine campus, Anna's Island. Each one is about 20 to 30 minutes from the other. But when you're studying at BCIT, you're usually studying at only one campus.
Right.
So you
right.
don't need to go between campuses. But just to give an example of the proximity, from the Richmond campus is right near the airport, and the airport is about a 30-minute subway ride to, or SkyTrain ride to the downtown campus.
Right. So you have a campus downtown, one in Burnaby, which is the main campus, the one at the airport, which is the aerospace campus. Makes sense. Imagine this. This campus is the size. So there's something like 20 aircraft that fit in that in that campus.
The hangar. Yeah.
It's just mind-boggling to me. Imagine the space.
Yeah. We have a 737 jet in the hangar, and it probably occupies about a quarter of the space, or maybe a third of the space. Right. But there's a Bombardier jet. There's a number of helicopters. We have a Sikorsky helicopter. We have different sizes of helicopters, small engine aircraft, large engine aircraft. This is the aerospace campus right here.
Yeah. And so, well, we're going to talk about this later on, but the programs you offer there is aircraft maintenance. Again, another program or area of the school where employment is probably way above 95% upon graduation.
Yeah.
So that's aircraft maintenance, and you also have other kinds of programs, but that's the main one at this campus, right?
Yep. And there's actually two classes of aircraft maintenance. There's M class for maintenance. That's the big one. That's the program that attracts the most students. And in companies, that's the job that they hire most for. But then we also do the avionics E class, and that is for all the electronic satellite system, the telecommunications, all the electrical systems on an airplane or helicopter. That's in the avionics AME E class. Companies don't hire as many of those people qualified with the E class, but they're very specialized jobs.
Yeah, and very well paid as well.
And very well paid, yes.
Okay, well, that leads me to my second question. Let's talk about what are some of the best programs at BCIT, and thinking of what in terms of employability upon graduation, but also in terms of uniqueness. Like some of the maintenance programs are quite unique because not every institutions in the country offer these programs. But what would you say? We know you have different schools within BCIT, well, different faculties, if we can call them like that, within BCIT. But what would you say are some of your star programs that attract or are most unique, or where you're strongest?
Yeah. First, Bruno, I'm going to just mention, we don't call them faculties at BCIT because we're not the traditional university model where it's focused on the faculty. We focus on a school that focuses on an industry. So our School of Business and Media, for example, rather than the Faculty of Business or the Faculty of Engineering. No, we call it the School of Energy or the School of Construction and the Environment. And those are the fields that the graduates from the program will graduate out into and work in. So it's really a philosophical difference between the applied education model of BCIT and the more theoretical research-based model of the universities. BCIT, again, another reason why our graduates find jobs so much, because our focus is on the industry. So, Vicky, let's bounce some ideas across each other here. But I would say in the School of Business, Bruno, one of the programs that always catches my eye is the General Insurance and Risk Management program. It's one of those programs that flies under the radar. Not a lot of students really think about it, but the insurance companies, the insurance industries in North America, all over the world really, are massive. And those companies tend to hire people with a business background, but they have no training in insurance or risk management. Right, but they can hire a general graduate from a business program, and that person can learn about the industry. But at BCIT, we teach the students insurance and risk management. And so the companies in the industry love our students. They hire our students, and as you say, they fight over our students. I've had some great conversations with the instructors in that program, and they've told me some great stories of students who, they get jobs instantly. It's one of those programs. We have other great programs, accounting and finance and business management, marketing management, but I love the general insurance risk management because it's unique.
Very unique, and nowadays with so many catastrophes happening around the world, whether for all the things that are happening, I think this is certainly something that's gonna come out of the darkness and kind of be more in the spotlight, because there's more and more risk assessment and insurance related jobs that will be needed for all the stuff that's happening with the environment and all that. Vicky, do you have a slide of the different programs, or just so the people that are listening to us can have a visual of the different schools and the different programs within each schools? Because, even if it's only there for a few seconds, they can take a snapshot, or they will receive this recording afterwards and they can pause it and take a look at the program.
Sure. Just give me a second here.
Yeah. While we continue talking, but I think this is so obviously the aircraft maintenance is also quite a unique program. There you are. Here are the schools.
Yeah, we're the largest trainer of aircraft technicians I think in Canada, not just the West Coast.
Wow.
And for
Also,
international students, Bruno, we have 4 classes every year dedicated to international students, and the classes are maximum 16 students. They run in January and in May and September, so 3 times a year. If you miss one, you get into the next one or the next one. You don't have to wait a full year to get into the program.
That's great. Yeah, having 3 intakes per year is a big. So this is one of your big schools as well, School of Energy. Again, very unique school, unique programs, very network cybersecurity. Talk about being on these right now. These graduates must be picking at who they want to work with, right? So the School of Energy, how is that different from the School of Computing? Because I see cyber technology, and I would think that this would have been in the School of Computing, right?
That's a great question, and there is overlap. I believe the industrial network cybersecurity is kind of a blend of computing. The computing faculty and the engineering faculty. But the reason it's situated in School of Energy is because it really has an industry focus. So industrial network cybersecurity, this is not the same as what, we have cybersecurity software on our computers, but this is in companies where they have networked components that can be hacked if they're not protected. And you can shut down a nuclear facility or make a nuclear facility explode if you shut down all certain components. So in terms of industrial warfare or espionage, or all of those very covert operations that happen between countries or just companies, the cybersecurity of the industrial networks that that function within these large companies is becoming more and more important. There was an example of a company, a nuclear facility in a country in the Middle East that was shut down by hackers from another country, whether they were government or not. But it caused a nuclear disaster, or maybe not a full-scale disaster, but they were able to shut down a nuclear facility.
Yeah, this is right out of a Mission Impossible script, eh?
Exactly. And it's the laboratories for the industrial network cybersecurity are very cool places to study.
Yeah. And also in your School of Business, I understand you have a lot of it's business and communication. You also have a lot of very precise programs on big data, right? And because there's also lots of interest, I think, for these programs, both from the student's point of view and also from the employment point of view. Can you tell us a bit more about that?
Well, big data is actually just it's just being developed, and we do have a business analytics program, which is a graduate certificate, pardon me, but it wasn't available to international students previously, and it will be in the near future. Yeah, the other program I think that maybe ties in closely to technology is the Business Information Technology Management program. That bridges between business and technology. And the students who go into that, generally they know exactly what they want to do, and they know why they're choosing business information tech management, because they're not interested in running a business, but they're interested in the workings of the business, you know, the technology associated with the business. In business and media, we also have all of the graphic design programs, and these are incredibly popular programs. We do not have enough capacity to service all of the students who apply to these programs. If we doubled the number of seats, we would still not have enough seats. You know, 3D modeling, art, animation, digital design development. There's a few other ones, new media and web development, communication design essentials. These are all such, these are such popular programs. They tend to fill up very, very quickly.
Yeah, and
So
we've seen that with some of our applicants where you know, we were maybe a little bit late in the process and we applied and there were, you know, no room, or they were put on list of you know, waiting list. So my advice to everyone that's listening to us who is considering BCIT, first of all, I'd say congratulations, because it's a good choice, but also do start right away, because this is typically a school that fills up every single semester. Again, you know, spots are limited. Spots for international students are limited, and so you don't want to wait till another semester or another year, depending on your situation. So it's better to start with action, with time. Another question. So were you going to say something, Vicky? I'm sorry.
No, it's just want to comment on the digital design programs. So most of the programs will become full like within 1 month of application starts. So just to the students who are interested, if you want to secure your seat, better to start preparing now and submit your application in October to secure your seat.
For September 2022.
Yes.
Right?
Yes.
Okay.
Actually, the digital programs like the 3D modeling and new media web development, we have 3 intakes per year. So there's one in September, October, then one in January, then one in May. So the application dates will vary. But some of those programs, it's not a month, it's actually 10 minutes after we open, they're full. Just
new media.
We get, you know, 20 people, 20 international students all trying to apply as soon as the program opens on October 1st. And, you know, the system will record who applied, who got their application in first. And we have to go in order of application. So yeah, a few of the programs fill up really quickly, but Vicky's right, you know, digital design and development and graphic communications, those will fill up a month or a little bit more than a month later sometimes.
Okay, so we need to be on our toes. We have a question from Valeria Barrera, which says, do you have an estimate of when will the business analytic program be available for international students?
I don't. We were hoping to have it available for September this year, but I think that's probably unlikely. So possibly in January, I would say.
Okay. Is there a way for Valeria to start, maybe start the process, and when you're ready, I guess maybe be in touch with us, Valeria? You could be in touch with us and we could start getting some basic documentation. And when we're ready, when we have the okay from BCIT and we know what other documents we need, we know what we need normally, but if there's anything special, we could put this together and we're, again, one of the first ones to apply maybe. Okay. I'll take more questions a bit later on. We have lots of good, well, I'll take another one right now because we have some very, keen questions. Isabel Guzman Romero is saying, do you have a nursing program?
Yes, but unfortunately, it's not open for international students. It's throughout Canada, it's the same story. Very few schools have space for international students. They're the capacity is limited, and we must, by government requirements, we must produce a certain number of domestic graduates for the hospitals here in Canada. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
Yeah. Pero sí tenemos, Isabel Guzmán, sí tenemos algunas instituciones en Canadá que sí toman, ofrecen el programa de nursing para extranjeros, en el caso de extranjeras, en tu caso. Entonces, sí son limitados y los espacios son limitados. Entonces, déjanos tus datos, te podemos conseguir un espacio quizás para enero o para mayo o septiembre de 2022. Okay? Okay, so my third question, and we've touched upon this already, but why would you say that BCIT graduates are so much subject to, or so, how do I say that? Or so, are being fought over by companies? And why are they so easily finding jobs upon graduation? Aside from the fact that BCIT is very well known, but what do you think are the main 2 or 3 attributes for this phenomenon that we see in the market?
I think very simply, it's the kind of training we provide imitates what the students or the graduates would be doing in the industry. So, if you're going to be an electrical engineer, you're not just in a classroom studying the theory, we're actually making you practice. So when you finish, you have skills, not only knowledge. I think that is really the primary reason why international or all graduates from BCIT are hired so quickly. And there is another very important reason, though. We work closely with industry. So every program at BCIT has a program advisory committee. Vicky, do we have a slide for that?
Yeah.
So this great example here, chemical environmental tech. If you look at who is on this advisory committee, managers, vice presidents, product line leaders, project engineers, these are all people from different companies around Vancouver. They are invited to sit on the committee for this program, this particular program, and they advise us of what skills they need students to have when they graduate. And if those needs change, these are the people who will know, right? They know what is coming, what new technologies, what new skills they need their employees to have. They work very closely with our faculty. They tell us what they need. We modify the curriculum on an ongoing basis to make sure that we are graduating students with the skills that these companies need. So these people, and there's only 8 of them here, but those 8 people, they all know many people in their industry. They talk about what's being done at BCIT, how closely we work with their industry. So the word is out there. Everybody knows that BCIT is training the students according to what the industry needs. And if you compare that to what universities do, universities don't follow industry. Universities want industry to follow them, right? Look at the great research we're doing. You should use this research. And that's really important, right? We need new research to be developed so that industry can grow. But the number of people who can do research is very small. And the number of people who are needed in the industry is very large. So that's why the model for BCIT has is very specific to the needs of industry. We have 2 clients, we say, the student and the industry.
Very well put. Yeah, I love that. And I think it's key having these committees. And you say it's only 8 people. My God, that's a lot of people. And some of them more and more. But the quality of these people and the fact that they're so in touch and they represent, the industry and what is needed out there. That is an amazing insight into why BCIT graduates are so much in demand and are so successful as well, and in their careers and in finding work upon graduation.
Yeah.
Great. I've got a great question here from Samuel Espinosa, and I'm not going by any order by means, but we'll take more questions afterwards. But Samuel is saying, "Hi, Michael. This institution looks amazing." Here's the question on the screen. What options do you guys have for postgraduate in the business finance field? And you have some decent options there.
Well, yeah, we did have a graduate certificate in business administration, but it's under review, so it's not up right now. But just recently, we released a great program in the School of Business and Media called Global Leadership. So it's a 1-year graduate certificate. It looks like a fantastic program. It's just being released. It's brand new, so the whole curriculum is newly developed. It's current, and they're launching that this September. So if you're interested to start in September, that would be a great option. And as we've been talking, I've been trying to find the graduate certificate in business analytics, and it still hasn't been updated to accept international students, but I'm hoping that they'll get to that soon. So if that is a program that you're interested in, please let Bruno or the student, the staff at class know, and we can communicate with the program area. Maybe there's a way we can get students in sooner than later.
Now, if they were to start, and Vicky, maybe you can share some of the postgraduate programs you have so we can see them on the screen. Michael, in the case of Samuel's question, if he was to start this September, it could be challenging to get a study visa for him to be here on time, but could he start online?
The plan is for the programs to be back in class.
Yeah.
There may be a handful of programs that do still have online study, but there would be very specific programs.
Yeah.
I think the best option is to aim more for a January intake, or next September, of course.
Okay, so this program will start in January as well.
The global leadership, because the delivery model is a little bit different. Students may be able to take some courses, although it does say on the website that it's September intake only. Yeah. I'd have to check in with it's a new program, so I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it. It may be that the students can take the January classes first and then come back and do the September classes afterwards. I'm not 100% sure.
Okay. I remember you had some postgraduate studies in finance or in big data or in data analysis. Am I right? Or
well, that's the business analytics one. Yep. Okay. Yeah, and that's the one that they communicated with me not too long ago that they want to accept international students. We advised them what to do to go ahead and accept them, but it still hasn't been done. So I know they want international students. It's just, I guess they haven't gone through the whole process yet.
Okay. All right. Next point, I think we need to talk about the elephant in the room. We need to talk about, let's talk about prices. Let's talk about requirements and intakes. We've already touched upon intakes, there's September, January, and May. But let's talk about prices and requirements for most of the programs, understanding that some programs have different requirements, but let's try to get an overview on that.
Vicky, I've been talking a lot. Why don't you take over for a bit?
Okay, sure. So let's start with the money. So I have a slide here. So when you first submit your application, the application fee is 154 Canadian dollars. However, if you change your mind down the road, or if you are not offered a seat in your first application, we would be happy to offer you a one-time application fee waiver. So your next application is free. And after you are offered a seat in the program, you need to pay a commitment fee of 3,000 Canadian dollars. So once we receive the payment, we will issue the official letter of acceptance, and you can use this letter to apply for the study permit from IRCC. And with the payment, it's part of your first term tuition, and you will be able to secure a seat in the program. So the tuition is kind of different from program to program, but generally speaking, for most programs, it's around 10,000 Canadian dollars per term. So let's say you pay the commitment fee of 3,000 Canadian dollars, and for the first term, you just need to pay the rest 7,000 Canadian dollars for the tuition. And I just want to add a comment on the tuition. At a first glance, you may think, oh, okay, the tuition in BCIT is the same as other schools, but if you look at the courses you are taking each term, you are taking double the courses, double the credits than other schools. So if you calculate the tuition per credit, BCIT is an excellent choice because you pay half of the tuition for one credit.
Right, that's an important point. Okay, so most programs cost $10,000 per term, and a term typically in Canada is September to December, or January to April, or May to August. These are the 3 terms that we have. So if you do a normal academic year would be 2 terms, and that would be about $10,000 per term. That's about $20,000 Canadian per term.
Yes.
Sorry, per year, academic year. Okay.
Right.
All right.
And
now let's talk about entry requirements.
Sure. So I got asked a lot for this question. So what are the entrance requirements? So just want to say that so the entrance requirements are program specific. Although some of the programs may have similar entrance requirements, but the most accurate place to check is the program's webpage. So if you could go to each program's webpage and click on entrance requirements, and you can see the application starting date and the specific entrance requirements. In BCIT, there are 2 admission modes. First qualified, first accepted is one of them. And actually, most of our programs are first qualified, first accepted. For these programs, there's no application deadline. You can see an application starting date, but there's no application deadline. It means this program is first qualified, first accepted. Once you meet all the entrance requirements and there is space available in the program, you will be accepted right away.
Okay.
So I'm using
first come, first serve type of thing. Okay.
Right. So I'm using business information technology management here as an example. So you can see there's no application deadline, and you can see the entry mode under entrance requirements. So for this program, we have English and math requirements, just English and math. So for English, you can see here it's English 12, 67%. But for international students, if you click, what if I don't meet these English requirements here, it will take you to the English requirements page. So just want to give you a quick answer. So English 12, 67% is equal to 6.5 in IELTS academic, or 86 in TOEFL. And we also require math, pre-calculus 11, 67%. You can apply with your high school math from Mexico. If you have taken linear algebra or calculus, pre-calculus in university, and you meet the percentage requirement, you can apply with your university transcript as well. So several different ways to meet the math requirement. And we also have the math test and math course at BCIT. You can take the test or take the math course to meet this requirement as well. Okay. So this is first qualified, first accepted. Most of our programs are like this. So for these programs, I would encourage you to apply early to avoid being waitlisted. So secure your seat as fast as you can. And we have several programs that is competitive entry. I'm using computer systems technology here as an example. So if you click on the entrance requirements of this program, you can see there's an application deadline. It means the program area will review all the applicants who meet the minimum requirements after the deadline, and they will make a decision on your application. So the entrance requirements here, step 1 is to meet all the basic entrance requirements. computer systems technology will require English and math. So English is still English 12, 67%, which is 6.5 in IELTS academic. And then we have math. However, meeting the basic requirements will not guarantee you a seat in the program. Because it's competitive entry, I would encourage you to have strong academics to secure your seat. And after the application deadline, if you meet the basic entrance requirements, you will enter the pool for department review. And the department will make a decision within several weeks after the deadline. So these are the two entrance modes in BCIT. For competitive entry, my advice is you probably need strong academics, and it's better to have a second program in mind. If you are not offered a seat for this for competitive entry programs, again, we would be happy to offer you an application fee waiver, so you can apply to a second program for free.
Okay. Okay. Very good.
Can I add something?
Yeah.
I see behind you, Bruno, you have the Kale test highlighted, right? I like the Kale test. I mean, we generally tend to refer to the IELTS as a standard, but if students are taking the Kale, the equivalent score of an IELTS 6.5 is the Kale 70, and with nothing less than a 60, I believe, on each of the skills.
Yeah, 60 is a minimum. Yeah, Kale is anyone interested in Kale? Kale is a Canadian born test, and it's received by all institutions in Canada. If you want more information, you can just go to classeducation.com/Kale, CAEL, and there's all the information there. And the advantage of Kale now is that through this pandemic, Kale went online. So you can take the test online. You can take the preparation as well online, and you can take the test online, and it's a little bit cheaper than IELTS as well. So it's a good option. And I know a lot of Canadian institutions really like Kale because it was really designed for Canadian institutions. So good point there, Michael. Now, I want to remind everybody that what Vicky walked us through now was a little bit overwhelming, and it's a lot of information. But you have class on your side there to help you go through all this paperwork and making sure we present a strong application. Remember that we are trained by our institutions to prepare strong applications. So we can assist you. We can help you putting together your application. We do that for our students. It's part of the services that we offer. And that would lead me to my next question. Michael, why would you recommend a student to apply through Class Education as opposed to either go on their own or try their luck online? Or why would you say it's a good idea to work with a professional agency like Class?
Well, you said it, a professional agency. Class is very professional. We've had zero problems with the students coming through Class. Anytime there's an issue, we've dealt with it very well together. I think very highly of Class as one of our recruitment agencies, and students, they probably have that sense that applying to the institution and applying for their study permit can be complicated, and you can miss steps. But when you go through Class, they guide you all the way through from start to finish, and you can feel very secure that you're going to get the best service possible.
Yeah, and I do think that these applications can be complex. And it's easy to get lost or forget something, and then you won't qualify to be even considered. As Vicky was saying, first requirements that you have to have all the document, you have to meet all the requirements. Otherwise, you're not being considered. And if you're missing something, and if it takes you 3 weeks to realize that you missed it or you forgot that, then there's probably no more space in the program, right? So it could be very costly mistake.
Yes.
Okay. All right. Well, I'd like to take some questions. We had quite a few. We took some already. I'd like to take some of the questions that we have from the people online. I'll ask the class team to be kind enough to share some of the questions on the screen. We had some really nice one. I saw a nice one from Oscar Santiago, who was asking about, hello everyone, I want to know if we have a kind of program in operation management or product management of IT solution, on the IT solutions.
I would say business operations management.
Or Bitman. It's Bitman is a unique program. Again, talking business information technology. It's not so much the operations of a company, but it's definitely the technology within a country. And as Vicky mentioned, business operations management is literally the operations, managing the operations of a company, which is different from managing the business of the company. At BCIT, we have business managers and we have operations managers. Their functions are very different.
Yeah.
We also have the Global Trade and Transportation Program, and there are two options for that. And do they still have the two options?
I think they combine the two options.
They combine the two,
Yeah.
right? They used to be separate, but now it's just one. So it's, but it is global trade, transportation. So it's the logistics and mainly logistics, I would say, for international trade.
Supply chain and international business management.
Supply chain, that was the word I was looking for.
In a complex world, and getting even more complex by the day in terms of supply chain and all that, I think that's another very, very great program at BCIT.
Yeah.
Okay.
So when I look at Oscar's question here, the project manager on the IT solutions, again, I think that is probably more the business information technology program. And then operations manager is operations management. So two separate streams. The best thing, Oscar, I would suggest, if you go to the website and you look at each of these programs, you can see the list of courses that you will study in that program. And these programs are 2 years in length. Each semester, each term, is a fixed curriculum. So you're not choosing your courses. We give you all the courses that you have to take. So in the first semester, it might be 7 courses. Second semester might be 10 courses. Third semester might be 7, 8. And again, the fourth semester might be 8, 9, 10 courses. Vicky mentioned earlier, these are very intensive programs. You learn a lot in a short period of time. But again, if you're interested to know the difference between the business information technology and the operations management, all you need to do is go to the website, look for those programs, and then on the side menu, you'll see courses. Click on that and you can see all the courses that are delivered in each of those programs.
Okay, very good. Well, I think you got your money's worth there, Oscar. Criso Rams, I have a bachelor in electronics engineering, but do not have the IEEE certification and wish to study something related or an MBA. What options would I have?
We don't have an MBA.
Maybe electrical and computer engineering. Electronic engineering sounds like.
So electrical engineering, but does not have the IEEE. Yeah, I'm not sure how to respond to that, to be honest, but if you're interested in studying something above the bachelor level for electrical engineers, you might consider the master's in building engineering or building science. I'm not sure about the IEEE though. I'd have to look into that more.
Okay. And if MBA, you do not offer MBA, we have other options in Vancouver that offer MBA, if that's that's your interest, Criso. So we have that as well. But I think the masters at BCIT in engineering, construction engineering, could also be of interest. Thank you for your question, Criso. If we have your contact information, we can start the ball rolling, start sending you some information about those programs in particular as well. Okay. Very good. Let's go with the next questions. Do you offer a PhD program about machine learning? We don't talk about PhD at BCIT much, right? I would say machine learning is more of a undergrad, or maybe a diploma or a postgraduate diploma, but not really a PhD program. Alfonso, I know Mexico is big on PhDs. Canada's not big on PhDs because we don't get work with PhDs. We end up pushing a pen, and so not that kind of school. For BCIT is not a PhD type of school.
20%. 20% of people who complete a PhD will find employment in, utilizing their PhD.
Yeah.
It's not a great statistic. And if you think about it, with a PhD, you have great research and you have great knowledge, but there aren't a lot of jobs that require that. And usually people with PhDs end up teaching in university and doing more research. But anyway, BCIT does not teach at the PhD level because it's research and we're not focused on research. We do masters, but our master's degrees are applied masters. Yeah. There is some research, but there's also application. And that's a vital component of our programs at BCIT. They have to have an applied element to them.
And I don't think there is such a thing as a PhD in machine learning. We do have this program at a college level in Canada, and if you're interested, you can give us your information, and Criso, and we can have you send this information to you. Okay.
We do.
Next question.
It is one of the options in our computer systems technology diploma program.
Okay.
It's artificial intelligence and machine learning. But again, that's one of the specializations in the diploma in computer systems technology.
Okay, so it's at the diploma level, you have that program. Okay.
Correct.
Okay. Ruben Edmundo, what programs do you offer for being a full stack developer, web developer?
We have full stack web development.
It's a diploma?
It's a two-year diploma.
Okay.
Yeah. Now, the two-year diplomas in computing, when you complete those, again, you're ready, you'll get a job. Especially in the IT computing sector, Vancouver in particular is a hub for those kind of technology companies. So, my understanding is we are not producing enough graduates to fulfill the needs of industry. So if you have a career, if you have a credential from BCIT, it should be very easy to get a job. And the full stack web development program or the computer systems, computer information technology programs, two-year programs, if you want, you can continue for 2 more years and complete the bachelor in computer systems, specializing in either games development or network security applications development.
Okay. And I want to remind everyone that's listening that while you're studying at BCIT, yes, you can work while you're studying, but it might be a little challenging because you'll be busy. And upon graduation, you will automatically receive a 3-year postgraduate work permit. And then, and Michael just said it, you will get work. You will find work because there's such a need for web developer and full stack developer. So you will get work. And about a year after you started working is when you have most of the requirements to apply for your permanent residency in Canada. So that's a great way to do it. You get work upon graduation. You start working, and a year after you start working, you apply for your PR, and then I would consider your employer will probably be in a position to offer you a letter of employment, and that will be a big point in your application for residency. So again, I'm not an immigration consultant, but we know the rules and we know how things work, and we've seen it with so many of our students that have done that, have taken that route, and on our permanent residents or citizens of Canada as well. So very good. Okay, let's take a few more questions because it's already 6 o'clock here, 8 o'clock in Mexico. Rosie Garcia, does BCIT offer scholarships?
Not entrance scholarships. There are a handful of merit-based scholarships that are available after first year. You don't need to apply for those. They're automatic. They go to the students with the top GPAs.
Mhm.
Yeah. I would say that the biggest scholarship that BCIT and most institutions in Canada offer is the possibility to get a postgraduate work permit upon graduation, and also on a world scale, very competitive rates for tuitions. At $20,000 a year compared to some universities in the U.S. and England or Switzerland. I think these are very competitive rates, and in a very dynamic economy as well, where you will find work. So these, I think, are what we call the biggest bursaries programs in Canada. So, okay, a couple more
Just
questions.
want to add a note on the finance. So when you have a valid study permit in Canada, you can work part-time during the terms and full-time during the academic breaks. So I hope that will relieve some of the financial burdens.
Yeah. These are the benefits of the Canadian visa. You can work part-time while you're studying. Pueden trabajar tiempo completo en tiempos de vacaciones. Al graduarse son sujetos al 100% a un permiso laboral hasta por 3 años. Si vienen con su pareja puede trabajar desde el primer día de clase, tiempo completo. Y si vienen con niños entre 5 y 18 años, los niños pueden estudiar gratuitamente en el sistema educativo público canadiense. Entonces son muchos beneficios, la verdad, que ofrece Canadá, y un año después de empezar a trabajar, después de su graduación, es cuando pueden aplicar ya por la residencia. Es el único país en el mundo hoy día que ofrece esos beneficios, y por eso Canadá es el número 1 en el mundo como destino para estudiar en el extranjero hoy día. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Okay, thank you for that, Vicky. You reminded me of some of the benefits that we outlined in Spanish to make sure that everyone gets them. Okay, what other question? We're having a good question from Abraham. Okay, Sarahi Jimenez, do you have programs between college and master's? I'm not sure I understand the question, but does somebody understand it?
Programs
As being
between
bachelor.
Well, let's take another question. Ruben, does the PGWP apply if you finish a 2-year program? The answer is yes. Yeah.
It's the best. So the maximum PGWP is 3 years. If you study a 1-year program, typically you get a 1-year PGWP. If you study 3 years or 4 years, the maximum is a 3-year PGWP.
Yeah.
But if you do a 2-year diploma, you get the maximum 3-year postgraduate work permit. So, you don't have to work study 3 or 4 years to get the maximum PGWP. The 2-year diploma is really the best value. It gets you the PGWP at the maximum length.
Right.
Bruno, just to go back to the previous question, I'm wondering, maybe we should just talk about the laddering of the credentials. So at BCIT, we have 1-year certificates. Some international students take them because they're not planning on staying in Canada for a long time afterwards. But the 2-year diplomas to me are the best because of the maximum PGWP. We have advanced diplomas, which are 1 year. The bachelor degrees are 2 years, but it's 2-year diploma plus 2-year degree. And then there's a few graduate certificates, and we have masters in a few areas. So those are all of the programs that we have, from 1 year to 1-year certificate to 5-6 years to finish a master's degree.
It's I think this is maybe that's where the question was heading with this.
Maybe.
Okay, so there are more questions, but it's already been an hour now, and I want to talk about a few more things, and especially the employment situation in Canada, and the fact that Canada does need a lot of people. And we have a slide on this that I want to share with you about employability and the job opportunities, and why this relates to BCIT and preparing you for the job market. Can we put that slide? There we go. I think it's coming. There we go. This is the employment situation in Canada. If you look at the bottom of this slide, I'll do this in Spanish because it's easier. The slide already comes in Spanish. la situación laboral en Canadá hoy día es, no lo llamaría crítica, pero sí es importante entender que mucha gente en Canadá son baby boomers y se están jubilando al ritmo de 1,100 nuevos pensionados diariamente en Canadá. Y si hacemos la cuenta entre la tasa de nacimiento y la tasa de mortalidad en Canadá, ahí ven que no hay un crecimiento que está pasando y hay más o menos 648 inmigrantes que llegan a Canadá diario. Si hacemos esta cuenta de todos los números que aparecen en la parte de abajo de su pantalla, vemos que tienen una tasa neta negativa más o menos de 500 puestos laborales que se quedan descubiertos en Canadá cada día. Entonces, las instituciones no solo quieren que la gente se preparen para esos puestos, pero también necesita a estudiantes internacionales para prepararse, certificarse y tomar esos puestos, porque en Canadá para hacer muchas tareas o puestos laborales uno tiene que tener una certificación, un estudio que lo avala, que protege a la gente, que protege a las industrias, a las empresas por demandas y todo eso. Entonces, instituciones como BCIT te preparan perfectamente bien para esos puestos, pero las oportunidades están ahí. Están ahí y les voy a pasar el mensaje de nuestro ministro de Inmigración para que vean el mensaje claro del gobierno canadiense que dijo nuestro ministro de Inmigración canadiense, el señor Medicino, en varias conferencias de prensa. Está diciendo que esas son sus palabras. Nuestro mensaje a los estudiantes y graduados internacionales es sencillo. No solo queremos que estudien aquí, queremos que se queden aquí. Y eso es porque Canadá necesita inmigración y Canadá ha optado claramente al sistema educativo y con instituciones como BCIT para nutrir este sistema migratorio. Entonces, BCIT es un jugador, es al centro de eso, preparando los alumnos y por eso al graduarse los alumnos tienen trabajo porque hay muchísimas oportunidades laborales y de ahí de la mano va un proceso migratorio exitoso para volverse residente permanente y eventualmente ciudadanos canadienses. ¿Okay? Entonces, este mensaje de nuestro ministro de Inmigración para mí es clave, es central, es muy, muy importante que lo entiendan, que es la educación es el camino más asertivo, más corto a un proceso migratorio a Canadá. ¿Ok? Y ya lo vimos por los números que estamos viendo en Canadá. Okay. Very good, Michael, Vicky. Thank you very much for all your presentation today and all the questions that you've answered with us. It's been a pleasure as usual. I was just, as you can see, I was just mentioning the situation we're living in Canada, where we need people to come into Canada, and that immigration has clearly outlined the education sector as the main supplier for our immigration system, because people land here, they're ready, they're prepared, they're certified, they're ready, they're accustomed to our culture, our environment, and they can integrate themselves into our workforce seamlessly after education. So that synergy between the private sector and the educational sector is probably Canada's best kept secret, I think, and the secret of our educational system and its success. And when you see 98% of graduates finding work upon graduation, that's simply unheard of. And that tells you a lot about the institution, BCIT, but it also tells you about the state of our economy, the strength of our economy, and the needs of our economy, and the how much Canada is growing as a country, as an economy. So there's a clear relation there between education and immigration in Canada, and also a clear relation between BCIT and finding work upon graduation. I think that's a key one as well, key takeaway from this. Okay, very good. We have a few other announcements. We did a little contest last week, actually in the last 3 or 4 weeks, about people taking selfies. So should we go to that, Jessica? Let's go see who the winners are, and maybe before we start with the contest, maybe I could ask Michael if you have a few words, if you want to finish on a few words, and before we go into the contest mode and giving away presents and stuff like that.
Sure. Yeah. Thank you, Bruno. It's been a pleasure to present with you again, and always love working with you and your team. for the students, thank you very much for joining us. Studying abroad is a big decision, I know, and there are so many things that you have to think about. And honestly, I feel, from my heart that BCIT is a great option for international students. I'm very proud to work here. I think what BCIT does is very unique. It helps people. It really helps people with their careers, getting their lives, going on a different track. If you're thinking about studying in Canada, I think BCIT is a great place for you to consider. So if you need any help with anything, Bruno and his team are great. And Vicky and I are always here as well to support the class team and you.
Great. Well, yeah. Go ahead, Vicky.
Oh, no, I just want to say it's our pleasure to be here, and we would be more than happy to support any students. Any questions, just let us know, and we'll just try our best to support you along the way.
Yeah, and your best goes a long way. You have always very quick response, very useful, very proactive in everything that we do. It's also a pleasure to work with BCIT. I also, like Michael said, I really do think that BCIT is a great option for international students. I wish there were more BCIT in Canada, actually, and because really it's a success story in Canada. And so I'm happy that we're able to share this good news. And thank you again, both of you, for participating today. Great insights, great information that we had not talked about in previous webinars with you. And now we have some of our first students that arrived that started with you last September online and are now arriving in August to be in class in September with you. So I'm very much looking forward to them to discover the benefits of studying in class at BCIT as well. And but so far in line, they've been thrilled with what they've studied and what they've learned. And so now they're coming in August to finish their program at BCIT. So
awesome.
Great.
Very good. All right, guys. Well, thank you very much. Enjoy the rest of the summer.
Thanks, Bruno. You too.
Thank you, Bruno.
All the best, everybody.
Talk to you later.
See you later, Vicky.
Ciao.
Ok, entonces ahora vamos a ver, muchas gracias a BCIT otra vez por participar en este webinar de hoy. Vamos a ver ahora la parte del concurso que hicimos desde los últimos 2 o 3 semanas sobre tomar la selfie y tenemos unos ganadores. Entonces les voy a dejar un pequeño video porque ahí aparecen lo de los ganadores, las fotos que pusieron. Entonces adelante cámara para ver quién ganó los premios.
Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance. Telling me to dance, taking a chance.
Bueno, pues ya está. No sé si la gente que ganó están escuchando el día de hoy. Sí, felicidades y gracias por haber entrado en este concurso. Y vamos inicialmente a dejar creo que 4 o 5 premios y luego pues nos soltamos un poquito más. Entonces creo que hay 9 o 10 ganadores. Allá en la presentación se decía que ganaron a los que ya están confirmado por llegar a Vancouver o a Toronto o Montreal. Adaptamos el premio a la ciudad donde van, ¿no? Porque para que sea un premio que pueden disfrutar cuando están aquí. Entonces hay un viaje de Vancouver a Whistler para alguien que no me acuerdo quién lo ganó. Hay otro viaje para ir a un mirador muy, muy bonito aquí en Vancouver que se llama Harbor Center, donde tomas un elevador afuera del edificio que te da vértigo y llegas hasta uno de los puntos más altos de Vancouver y ves todo lo que hay alrededor. Es un lugar hermoso en Vancouver. y así otros premios. Y en los que todavía no empiezan con nosotros, pues estamos ofreciendo monederos y tarjetas de descuentos para iniciar sus trámites con nosotros. Entonces, eso es, ya se acabó el concurso el día 15 y hoy nombramos los ganadores y seguramente haremos otros tipos de concursos de esos este otoño. Ok, muy bien, pues con todo, con eso ya terminamos nuestro webinar del día de hoy. Yo me voy despidiendo, Bruno Perón desde Vancouver. Nos vemos en nuestro próximo webinar, el próximo, creo que tenemos uno el día martes y también el día jueves. Entonces yo estaré con ustedes en estos webinars. Muchísimas gracias a todos por asistir el día de hoy. Gracias al equipo de clase por todo este montaje de los ganadores del concurso de selfie y por ayudarnos con la promoción y la presentación de este webinar el día de hoy. Una vez más, me despido. Muchísimas gracias a todos. Que descansen, disfruten de su verano y recuerdan que el 7 de septiembre Canadá abre sus fronteras otra vez y ya vamos a poder empezar a viajar más libremente otra vez a Canadá. Entonces, es una gran noticia que anuncié esta semana en nuestras redes sociales. Cada vez más, cada vez es más fácil llegar a Canadá, estudiar en Canadá, trabajar en Canadá y eventualmente emigrar a Canadá. Créanme, aquí ya con un nivel de vacunación arriba de los 85% con la primera dosis y arriba del 57 o 58% con la segunda dosis. Se siente mucho, la economía está totalmente reactivada, no se requiere máscaras donde vamos, ni en transporte público, ni en tiendas, ni en restaurantes o bares. Entonces, la verdad que un regreso a la normalidad. Michael Galley de BCIT lo dijo hace ratito, es un regreso a clase completo en septiembre, entonces, y eso es una realidad para todas las instituciones del país. Entonces, parece que ya estamos volteando esta página de la pandemia, por lo menos aquí en Canadá. Entonces, vénganse por acá a estudiar. Si no tienen sus vacunas, no pasa nada. Nada más harán una cuarentena para entrar y aquí inclusive pueden recibir sus vacunas de forma completamente gratuita. ¿Ok? Muy bien. Entonces, con eso me despido. Muchísimas gracias a todos otra vez por acompañarnos el día de hoy y nos vemos la próxima semana en nuestro próximo webinar. Muchas gracias y muy buenas noches.